Hey Bulldogs, let's see what's happening this week on Code Blue News. An HMHS artist is featured on Artist of the Month. Joe brings us a special Women's History Month segment. Caleb covers the JFK's return to school, and Mr. Gorman shares a quick tip regarding emails. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Hey Bulldogs, welcome back to Code Blue News Season 3. I'm Matthew Messina, here with Joseph McLaughlin, 6 feet apart. As a reminder, class dues are due March 30th. Please see your class advisor with your dues or if you have any questions.
High school students, do you enjoy the spirit of competition? Would you like a chance to win a DoorDash gift card? Then join Team Rival and have some fun competing against other Norfolk County high schools. Contact Ms. Payon by Monday by signing up and join the fun with some online challenges.
To start off the show, we have another edition of Artist of the Month, this time featuring my bestie, Kylie McKeon.
My name is Kylie McKeon. I'm a senior at Holbrook Middle-High School, and I like to make art. I started doing art, well, I've always done art, but I think I took it seriously probably 8th grade. I don't know if I technically specialize in anything. I like to do everything, but I would say right now I'm putting a lot of my focus into digital art. And yeah, I really like to do collages, and I love to illustrate. I really like Van Gogh's Starry Night, one of my favorite paintings, and I definitely take a lot of inspiration from his style and the colors that he uses in that painting. So that's definitely one of my biggest ones, and I use a lot of music for my art inspiration too. Because I do plan on going to art school. So I applied to schools in Georgia, California, Boston, and New York. If you're interested in pursuing art in any way, just go for it. It's really not something that you have to take so seriously. It's just kind of expressing how you feel and what you want to do. So I would say just do whatever you want, and if people enjoy it, that's cool, but if you enjoy it, I think that's the most important part.
Thanks, Kylie. If you're in the National Honor Society, there are still 2 weeks left of our Boone Supply fundraiser. Check the Google Classroom for more information or see Mrs. McDonough with any additional questions.
This past week marked the start of the Fall 2 season here at HMHS. On Tuesday, boys soccer took on South Shore Voc Tech, losing 4-3 in a hard-fought game. Also on Tuesday, cross country lost to Norfolk Aggie in a competitive race. Volleyball lost 3-1 at Norfolk Aggie Wednesday. Yesterday, boys soccer captured their first victory. The goals were scored by Will Haney and Jack Poppinga. Football kicks off their season tonight in Hull at 6. The volleyball team plays Norfolk Aggie again at home today at 4 p.m. To watch the volleyball game, go to the Holbrook Cam on YouTube.
As we wrap up the month of March and Women's History Month, I have a spotlight on a relatively unknown group of women. When you think of World War II soldiers and war heroes, you probably think of generals like George Patton or Douglas MacArthur, or soldiers such as Audie Murphy. What do all these people have in common other than being war heroes? They're all men, as was pretty much every soldier that fought in World War II. However, not all the heroes were men, as this is the story of the Soviet 588th Bomber Regiment, known as the Night Witches. In late 1941, the German advance was creeping closer to the Soviet capital of Moscow as the war on the Eastern Front raged on. The Soviets were becoming desperate as the threat of a German takeover grew larger. Enter Marina Raskova, a Soviet female pilot nicknamed the Soviet Amelia Earhart. Raskova had been receiving letters from women all over the Soviet Union, yearning to assist in the war effort with the creation of a female fighting force. Raskova was eager to present this idea to Joseph Stalin, the then dictator of the Soviet Union. At the time, women in the Soviet military were allowed to partake in support roles, but they were never allowed to truly engage in combat. It was at the point of highest desperation that Stalin finally agreed to create 3 all-female Air Force regiments, the 586th, the 587th, and the most famous being the 588th. The 588th were the Night Bomber Regiment, tasked with bombing German camps as they slept. They were given horribly out-of-date gear to complete their missions. Overall, they were ridiculed and harassed by their male counterparts for their involvement in the war effort. They used the Polikarpov PO-2, a wooden-framed, canvas-wing death trap, nicknamed the crop duster, or even worse, the sewing machine, due to the fact that its engine was so loud. It was significantly slower than many of the German fighter planes, and to make matters worse, these pilots were not even given parachutes or radar technology, making their missions even more dangerous. Their strategy was to attack in groups of 3 under the cover of night. Once they approached their target, a navigator would send a signal. Then the pilots would cut their engines, allowing them to stealthily drop their bombs, dealing death from above. The unsuspecting Germans would hear the whooshing sound of wind blowing across the plane's wings, then bombs exploding, followed by the loud laughter of women in the distance. They were so petrified of these bombers that they called them Die Nachthexen, which simply translates to the night witches in English. The German fighter pilot, Johannes Steinhoff, said, "We simply couldn't grasp that the Soviet airmen that caused us the greatest trouble were in fact women. These women feared nothing. They came night after night in their very slow biplanes, and for some periods they wouldn't give us any sleep at all." The Night Witches flew a combined 30,000 missions over 4 years, dropping roughly 23,000 tons of bombs. The regiment lost about 30 women, 24 of which would be awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union, an equivalent to our Medal of Honor. Even with all of their success, they weren't allowed to fly in the victory parade, given their planes were too slow, and were disbanded just 6 months after the war. Although the story isn't well known here in the United States, their story has been told in many other parts of the world, even in song. The most famous retelling being Sabaton's hit song titled Night Witches, adding some more flair to an already amazing story. The heroics of the Night Witches, among many other women across the world, have helped pave the way for women's equality in today's society.
Thanks, Joe. The National Junior Honor Society is about to kick off its annual Pennies for Patients fundraiser, now nicknamed Hero Squad. We have decided to take on blood cancer, and our mission is to raise money to help find a cure. Program materials will go home with students next week. Please help the National Junior Honor Society raise money to help find a cure for blood cancer and improve the lives of patients and their families.
Recently, the JFK side of the building has begun to shift back into full-time, in-person learning. Caleb Tobin has more on this process.
With production of the COVID vaccine increasing every day, and the Charlie Baker administration pushing for kids to return to school, the JFK Elementary School has begun bringing students back full-time. However, with these additional students coming back, there were changes to the safety protocols and schedule that needed to be made.
So it was really a team effort and decision. We spent countless hours in meetings, Zoom meetings, with the commissioner, so at the state level with the Department of Ed, and then also at the local level with our Board of Health, really having conversations on can we do it safely and when is the best time to do it, as far as looking at metrics here locally and statewide as well. So once we got the go-ahead from our local Board of Health, planning was in full effect, and we were able to bring back kindergarten on March 8th. The next week, we brought back our first graders, and then just this past week, we brought back second and third, and we're really eager to bring back our fourth and fifth graders next Monday. One of the biggest changes was that we had to add additional classrooms. Due to our class sizes, we're really trying to maximize distance in the classroom. So we had to add a third grade classroom, which is now located in our media center. And we are going to be adding a fourth grade classroom, which will be located in our music room. Additional changes to our lunches needed to happen in order to accommodate the full return of students and the 6 feet social distancing that still needs to happen during meals because their masks need to be off. So we are now using the middle high school cafeteria for 2 of our lunches. We've increased the number of desks in our cafeteria as well as the gym so that we can accommodate all of our students back safely. Teachers are so excited to have all the kids back. The remote learning was difficult, especially at our younger grades. It's not ideal to have a 5 or a 6-year-old on the computer for chunks of the day. So we are so excited to have them back in person, and this beautiful weather that we've had recently definitely makes it even better, being able to go outside for mass breaks. This has not been an easy year at all for anybody, but I feel like everyone's kind of rolled with the punches, has been flexible with all of these changes that have happened over the year, and I look forward to working with the leadership team to hopefully bring back grades 6 through 12 before the end of the year as well.
As students are gradually returning to the classroom, it looks like school is beginning to regain at least some normalcy. This has been Caleb Tobin for Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Caleb.
Now to some local sports news. The head coach of the Duxbury football team, Dave Mameron, was fired on Wednesday. The team was caught using anti-Semitic play calls during their games.
This has been reportedly an issue for quite some time, with some saying it's been going on for a few years. An external investigator has been hired to look more into the situation. We'll provide more updates as the story develops in the future.
To finish off the show, Mr. Gorman is here with a quick PSA.
When looking to reply to an email that was sent to a group of recipients, it's important to know the difference between choosing reply and reply all. The reply option sends an email directly to the person who sent the initial email. The reply all option sends an email to everyone who was on the initial email. This can lead to bombarding friends, classmates, or coworkers with unnecessary emails. Even the most technologically savvy people can fall victim to the dreaded reply all misstep. So make sure to check which option you selected before hitting send. This has been Email Tips with Mr. Gorman.
Thanks, Mr. G. Fantastic work as always. Lastly, we are going to pull a few more teachers' names for a raffle.
Reminder that these winners get a fast food gift card of your choosing. Hopefully, we have the one you want, and good luck to all the teachers. I believe they're right here.
Alrighty. And our beautiful envelope of names.
First one will be Michael Walsh. I'll let you go next, Joey Mack.
Okay, Matt. Second name, Miss Doherty.
Former trivia champion. Trivia's next week. Stay tuned. Laura Abbott.
Our fourth name is Miss A.
Miss A, if you interrupt me during Miss Payon's class, I want you to thank me and Joe. Jeanne Moore, otherwise known as Finley and Bridget's mom, and your aunt, I guess.
Our sixth name, if I can read it, Mr. Killinger.
I'm going to keep going until someone tells me to stop. So. 12. That is way more than I thought. Miss Payon, I called it. Speak of the devil. The things they carried.
A little longer, so eighth name of 12. I got a lot of names here. That's kind of bad.
Joe!
Catastrophically wrong. Mr. Galvin. I promise I did not look at any of those names when I pulled them out accidentally, so I'm going to just...
Is Mr. Galvin paying you off, Joe? Is he paying you off?
Maybe he is.
I'll double it.
Okay.
Artistic integrity. Ariana McCann.
You don't need to give me that envelope. I've had plenty of names here. I'm gonna say about 4 names are in my hand right now. So I'm gonna just go with the one that's in my hand right now. I have not looked. You saw that. Miss O'Driscoll.
We both have 5. There's 2 left. May the odds ever be in your favor.
2 lucky winners coming up right
Katie LaPierre.
Nice. And the final one, it's in my hand somewhere. It's in my hand somewhere. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? And it's gonna be Mr. K.
Shout out to the 2 people on Joe's desk that didn't get picked.
Whoever they are.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Well, that about wraps up this week's show. I'm Joseph McLaughlin.
And I'm Matthew Messina. See you next Friday.